So let's quickly check. So it says here 1.1, so that's the tab sheet question 1. Write code in the onCreate event handler on the form to do the following. Okay, so first let's go to the onCreate. So basically over here, if we just go to the events, you'll see that there's an onCreate. Okay, otherwise if you just go to the code section, you should find it here as well with already question 1.1 on form create. So either way, or you could have just double clicked, it takes you right here to the spot. So what needs to happen here? It says display the sentence IT is fun on the panel Q1. Alright, so we're just gonna need to display IT is fun in that panels. So we're just gonna say our panel, that's question 1.1. Dot, we use the caption. The caption is what we can see, so we're gonna say dot caption gets a new value. What is that value gonna be? It's gonna need to be IT is fun. And that's it. The next one, set the background color of the panel to lime. Okay, so I'm gonna need to take my panel dot, just wanna say dot color, and I'm gonna need to set it to lime. So that's gonna be CL and then lime, color lime. And then lastly, we need to set the font size of the text to 15. So we're gonna need to say our panel dot our font dot, we want to change the size, and then to what size do we need to set the font to? 15. And that should be it. Do you agree with me? We can run it, obviously test it, see if it works, and it works. Okay, just mute the mics, people, please. Then the next one says 1.2.1, the larger number. Write code to do the following. Extract number 1 and number 2 entered by the user from the error boxes provided. Okay. Determine and display the larger number in the error box. EDT question 1.2.1. If the entered numbers are the same, display the word equal in the error box. Okay, so we need to basically check which one is bigger, and we need to check for if they are equal. Okay, so let's quickly see. Larger number. I'm gonna need to create two variables for myself. In this case, did they tell us? They didn't tell us it's whole numbers. They didn't tell us anything. I'm just gonna use whole numbers if they didn't tell us any information. So I'm gonna have a num1 and I'm gonna have a num2. Both is of integer data types. Then I'm gonna just go ahead and extract those two numbers. So num1 gets the value of my EDT num1.text. Now that's gonna give me a slight error. My error is I have a string here. I'm trying to fit it into an integer. So what do I need to do? I need to convert my string to an integer, and then I am sorted. Now what I do with the one, I just do with the second one. So num2 is equal to, I'm gonna convert my string to, not to a cursor, I'm gonna convert it from a str to an int, and then again my edt num2 dot text. So I'm just assuming now it is edt num2 dot text. So let's quickly just check what the values are. It is edt num1 and edt num2. Okay, so that is still correct. Okay, so now I've got my two numbers. I need to just compare now to find the bigger number. So let's quickly go ahead. What do I use if I want to make decisions? If I want to make a decision, I use an if statement. So what I can now do is I've got three choices now. I can either say num1 is going to be bigger, num2 is going to be bigger, or if those are not bigger, then they must be equal. So I'm going to go ahead and say if num1 is greater than num2, then I must begin, and inside of my, well, not panel, what is that? It EDT. Inside of my EDT, question 1.2.1 thanks, dot text, I must go ahead and display my num1 because I say num1 is more. So I need to take my int to a str and I need to just go ahead and display num1. Okay, otherwise, so else, if my num2 is more than my num1, then I must just go ahead and say my EDT question 1.2.1 dot text gets the value of into string. Now I say my num2 is bigger. And lastly, if num1 is not bigger than num2 and num2 is not bigger than num1, then it means there's only one logical explanation. These two numbers are equal. So EDT question 1.2.1 dot text will get the value of the word equals. I think so. Equals to. Or what was the word we needed to display? Just equal. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna control D just to make my formatting a bit nice. Let's save before we test it. And let's see what did they use. They used 4 and 9 to test this program. So I'm gonna also use just 4 and 9. Larger number, we can see 9 works. If I put a bigger number in my number 1, we can see that works. And if I have the same two numbers, it says equals. So that is perfect. So if number 1 is greater than num2, then show num1. Else, if num2 is more than 1, show num2. Else, if the only last one that can be is equal. Right, so let's go on to the swappy wappy words one. So it says write code to do the following. Extract word 1 and word 2 entered by the user from the edit boxes provided. Use the variable provided to store these values. Swap the contents of the two variables. Display the words in the edit boxes after swapping. Okay, so let's quickly see what we got here. So we've got a S word 1, we've got a S word 2, and we've got a temp. Alright, so let's go ahead and first extract. So I'm going to go ahead and say my S word 1 is equal to, now that's going to be inside of EDT, I guess, word 1 dot text. My S word 2 will be found inside of my EDT word 2.text. Now I've got my two words, I need to go ahead and swap them. So let's quickly just take a look. Let's say I've got two cups. I've got a pink cup and I've got a blue cup. If I have water in my pink cup and I have milk in my blue cup, I want to go ahead and swap them without wasting any of this content. What I can do, so I want the water in the blue cup and the milk in the pink cup. What I can go ahead and do is I can go ahead and get myself another cup. A cup that is basically just a placeholder. Let's say I go grab a green cup. So what I can do with this content now is I can take my let's start with water. I can take the water, I can chuck it into my green cup, so making my pink cup empty. Then what I can do when my pink cup is empty, my milk, I can take it and I can place it into my pink cup because pink is now empty. Now my blue opens up and I take my water out of my green cup and I place it into my blue cup. So you saw that swappy we did? That's exactly what we're gonna do here. So I'm gonna use my temp to say my S temp is equal to whatever is inside of S word 1. Now that S word 1 is saved into my temp, I'm going to overwrite it. So I'm going to say I don't care about the value anymore. So I'm going to say my S word 1 is equal to whatever is inside of my S word 2. See, I overwrote it now. It's gone. Now s word 2 can get a new value because we already saved s word 2 now. So s word 2 is equal to my s temp word. Now this looks very familiar. That is almost like our arrays when we did our swap. Temp is I is J is temp. It's the same thing going on there. Okay, temp is word 1 gets what's in word 2, and word 2 gets what's in temp. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and just display these two, and we're gonna need to display it inside of, what do we need to display it inside of? Or do we just need to display it now in the same boxes? Ah, in the same boxes. Okay. So then we just need to overwrite those boxes. Okay, so we need to just go ahead and say edt word1 dot text gets the value of s word1. There we go. And my edt word2 dot text gets the value of whatever's inside of my s word2. Okay, so theoretically that looks fine. We can see if it works. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in apple and a pear. If we click the swap, then pear should appear at the top and apple at the bottom, and it in fact does, so that looks good. Any questions? No questions. Moving on. Let's quickly take a look at one point. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so let's quickly see number 1.3. Where's the questions? It says Best Buy Bakery is a small business that bakes cakes for the community. The combo box number of cakes is populated with numbers 1 to 10, which are used to select the number of cakes to be ordered by the customer. There are 10 picture files in the folder to represent the number of cakes ordered. An image component img cake pic is used to load a picture that shows the number of cakes to be ordered. Example, if the number of cakes selected is 3, the name of the picture file will be picture3.png. Alright, so 1.3.1 in the combo box, you define the price of a cake is saved in a constant variable called price, which contains the value 159.50. Okay, so write code for the combo box to do the following. Extract the number of cakes selected from the combo box. So let's go ahead and do that first. So first let's go, where's 1.3? There we go. Okay, so we first need to go ahead and extract the number of cakes selected. So to extract it, what we can do is I can go ahead and just create myself a variable. I'm gonna create a variable, let's call it numcakes, and that's gonna be of data type integer. Alright, so then we can just go ahead and say numcakes is equal to my combo box dot text. Now that is gonna, wait, let me just quickly see what does the combo box actually look like. Is it giving me numbers or is it giving me text in that combo box? Can you guys tell me? Is it numbers? Okay, so then this will work. Number cakes is equal to, gonna take it from a string into an integer and save it into my numcakes variable. Okay, so that's extracting the number of cakes. Then display the picture that represents the number of cakes selected. Okay, so okay, great stuff. So what we can do now is we can just say our picture. What is it? It's going to be img cake pic dot picture dot load from file. Okay, and then we just need to indicate what is the file's name. Now, what we normally would have done in here, we would have just said, what is the format of it's picked. So, picked then a number dot png. Now we just need to replace this number. Obviously we don't know, is it going to be 1 2 3 etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my name off over there, just call it picked. Then I'm going to say plus, I'm going to add in this number. Now that number at the moment it's a string to an int, so we could have left it as a string as well. That can work, but I can just add it in. Now this needs to be a text. Numcakes is an integer, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say int to str, and then inside of the brackets the number of cakes. Now that's simply just gonna take a number 5 etc. So it's gonna be picked plus a number 1 2 3 4 5 etc. Then we're just gonna add it to the second part of the string, which is just gonna be .png. Okay, so if you read that, it will literally say picked 5.png or whatever. Okay, so let's just check if it works. Obviously, I'm reading this now for the first time, so there's a few adjustments I could have made. So like leave it firstly as a string, then if you want to use it as a calculation, then go ahead and change it to an integer. But as you see, it doesn't matter. Both works, anything works. As long as it works, everything is good. Okay. On this one, what else does it say here? It says, I think we had bullet 3, use the selected number of cakes and the value of the constant variable to calculate the cost of the number of selected cakes. Display the cost using currency with two decimal places. Example of the input and output, so 4 cakes, and then it calculates the cost there for us. Okay, we can do that. So we now know the amount of cakes we want. We have the price per cake inside of our constant variable there. We just need to go ahead and show it. Now I can do it the long way. Let me do it the long way. So to do it the long way, I can go ahead and just call it here maybe total price, and I can say it's of data type double. Then we said we just need to say my total price is gonna be equal to the amount of cakes they ordered. Now that we stored inside of num cakes. Okay, and we just need to multiply it, normal multiplication, by whatever is stored inside of our price variable. There we go. Now that's going to calculate the total price for us. We can now go ahead and display that total price, and we need to display it inside of edt cost, I presume. We just say dot text is equal to, now I need to display this as they said in currency format, so I'm gonna say convert my float to a string, float to string, but I need to keep it as formatted, so that is why I have that F there, float to string F. Inside of the brackets, what do I want to convert? I want to convert my total price variable, comma, which formatting do I want to use? I want to use FF currency, comma, a big number, 9, comma, and then the amount of decimals. They said they want 2 decimals, so comma 2. And that is it. Let's see if it does in fact work. Again, they used 4, I think, if I can remember correctly. Used 4, got a price of 638,00, which is 638,00. So there we can see we are on the right track. Everyone good, clearly together. A single cake requires 375 grams of sugar. Sugar is packed in quantities of 1 kilogram packets only. Okay, right, go to do the following. Calculate the amount of sugar in grams that is required for the number of cakes selected. Okay, determine the number of 1 kg packets of sugar that must be purchased. Alright, note 1000 grams is 1 kg. Display the amount of sugar required in grams as well as the number of 1 kg packets. Okay, so let's quickly see. So let's do the first one first. Calculate the amount of sugar in grams that is required for the number of cakes selected. Okay, so if we quickly go back, I think I'm just going to mark this one. That is in this button over here. Calculate the amount of sugar. So the sugar in grams. Okay, there we go. They gave us the sugar as well. That is very nice of them. So one thing I can do is this variable over here, number of cakes, I can go ahead and extract it. I'm gonna just be easy. That do we have a global variable? Hey, we had a global variable created there for us and we didn't even use it, so that's gonna make my life easier. I don't have to extract again. So instead of using that number of cakes I had, I could have just used this variable here, inum cakes. So instead of num cakes, I could have said inum cakes. So that is gonna get it out for me into string inum cakes. Total price is inum cakes. So I'm just being lazy now. You don't have to be. So when I, yes. Okay, so um, where was I now? Okay, I had my inum cakes. Alright, so you can go ahead and extract it again if you didn't want to use inum cakes. It's fine. I'm gonna use it because we have it. So I'm gonna go ahead and say my inum cakes. This is the amount one needs. So let's create another variable here. Let's call it total sugar maybe, and it's gonna be integer for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and say my total sugar, sorry, is equal to the amount of so my I cakes, inum cakes. We're gonna multiply it by the amount of sugar it takes for one. There we go. That's gonna give me a total sugar. Okay, then they said determine the number of 1 kg packets that must be purchased. So 1 kg is 1,000 grams. Okay, so that means this thing over here is gonna give me inside of grams. So let's say for instance it's gonna be telling me 1,500 grams or 1,500 in my total sugar. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead create myself another variable and I'm gonna just call it number of packets. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say my number of packets. Ooh, I don't want it as an integer for now. Oh, I can use it as an integer. I can go ahead and say my number of packets, and this is just gonna get a bit rough now, is equal to, okay, I want to take my total sugar I have and I want to divide it by how much is in one packet. So that's going to be 1,000. Then that is going to get me a result. It's so in this case, if we take 1,500 divided by 1,000, it's going to give me 1.5. But I have an integer here. I'm not allowed to um, give it a decimal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the word seal here. Now what seal will do for me is it's gonna round it up to the nearest number. So let's just quickly check with our uses. Is maths there? With my uses, maths is already there. So you see it's already very nice for us. Okay, so it's just gonna seal. Seal means round up. So if that was 1.5 packets that's gonna be required, it will make it 2 for me. Let me just quickly see. It might give me an error because I'm trying to divide with the forward slash. Just give me a second. I just want to quickly see. So if we say 4, calculate the amount of sugar. Okay, it didn't give me an error. Yes. Right. So let's go on to the next one. So now I think we just need to go ahead and display. So it says display the amount of sugar, okay, and then the number of packets. Alright, so the sugar in grams, let's just go ahead and say my EDT sugar packs dot text is equal to my int to string. Always, there we go, into string, my number of packets. There we go. And then my last one, EDT sugar in grams. There we go. Dot text gets the value of this for total integer int to string, and then just my total sugar. Right. So that's just a display we did. Let's quickly just see if it works. So choosing 4 packets. Calculate, there we go, 1500, and we require 2 packets. Okay, because we rounded up. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here for now.